Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and before we get into this fiery and important message, make sure you hit that subscribe button and share this video so we can get as many eyes and ears on this as possible. Today, I'm bringing you a strong, direct, and unfiltered message to the members of Operation Dudula, a movement that has dominated headlines, sparked heated debates, and left the country deeply divided on the question of illegal immigration, economic opportunities, and what it truly means to put South Africans first. Whether you support them or oppose them, this message is meant to shake the conversation, because the path we are on is leading to a dangerous crossroads. Operation Dudula began as a grassroots movement, fueled by frustration. Communities were tired of what they saw as a government that failed to protect local jobs, failed to secure the country's borders, and failed to address crime and poverty. People saw undocumented migrants working in shops, on construction sites, in restaurants, while South African citizens remained unemployed. They saw crime blamed on foreign syndicates, and they felt ignored. That anger and hopelessness birthed a movement that vowed to act where the state had been silent. But somewhere along the way, the fight for justice started walking a thin line between patriotism and division, between legitimate grievances and actions that could tear communities apart. To the members of Operation Dudula, hear this clearly: your frustration is real, your pain is understood, and your demand for a better South Africa is justified. But the way this fight is carried out will determine whether you are remembered as heroes who stood for the people or as a group that deepened the wounds of our nation. South Africa is no stranger to conflict born from mistrust and division. We lived through decades of it. And when you target entire groups of people based on nationality, when you paint every foreign national with the same brush, you risk repeating some of the ugliest chapters in our history. There is a difference between fighting for accountability and turning neighbor against neighbor. There is a difference between demanding law enforcement do its job and taking the law into your own hands. No matter how right you feel, violence, intimidation, and destruction will never lead to lasting solutions. You may win a few battles on the streets, but you will lose the war for the soul of this country if your actions make it impossible for communities to live side by side. This is not to say that South Africans should accept the status quo, far from it. Borders must be protected. Immigration laws must be enforced. Jobs for locals must be prioritized, and government must address the economic desperation that fuels tension. But that fight needs to happen strategically, not emotionally. The true enemy is not every Zimbabwean, Malawian, or Nigerian living in our townships. The true enemy is corruption, weak governance, and leaders who have sold out the country's future for personal gain. Those leaders want South Africans fighting among themselves because it keeps the focus off their failures. If Operation Dudula truly wants to deliver for the people, it must shift from being seen as a movement of confrontation to a movement of organized pressure on those in power. Imagine if the same energy used in street demonstrations was channeled into legal challenges against corrupt officials, mass voter registration drives, or economic campaigns that force big companies to hire locally. Imagine if instead of burning and destroying, the movement built community security networks, job training programs, and small business cooperatives that directly empower locals. That is real power, power that lasts beyond a single protest. Members of Operation Dudula, you hold influence. People listen to you. They look to you for leadership when they feel abandoned. That influence comes with a responsibility, not just to express anger, but to shape it into something constructive. Right now, there are children growing up watching this movement, learning how we respond to hardship. If they grow up believing the answer is to hate, chase, or harm others, then we are planting the seeds of future conflict. But if they see that even in anger, we can act with discipline, dignity, and unity, then we are teaching them to build, not destroy. This message is not about silencing you or dismissing your pain. It is about reminding you that the road to true victory is not paved with fear or division, but with justice, fairness, and solutions that lift people up. South Africa is already bleeding from corruption, unemployment, and crime. If we keep cutting ourselves open with division, we will bleed out completely, and no one will win, not South Africans, not migrants, not anyone. So here's the challenge to Operation Dudula: prove your critics wrong. Show the country that you can be fierce without being reckless, determined without being destructive. Call out the corrupt officials enabling illegal immigration. Demand that Parliament pass laws to protect local jobs. Partner with civil society to push for real border security and an immigration system that works. Build a vision that all South Africans can get behind, one that doesn't just focus on who should leave, but on how we make this a country worth staying in. If you take this path, history will remember Operation Dudula not as a symbol of division, but as a movement that forced South Africa to confront the truth and take action. But if you keep walking down a road of anger without direction, you risk being remembered as just another headline in the story of a nation that failed to learn from its past. The choice is yours, and the world is watching. The time to choose wisely is now.